Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here. Welcome back to the Ram Revival. This has been a long time coming. It's no choice of my own, but it's Monday, Mopar Monday. It was definitely a Monday. One of those Mondays where you finally get to eat lunch at 4 o'clock and the customer that was going to come at noon shows up and you don't get to eat until like 4:40 right before you go home. Yep, one of those days, but gonna try to get something productive and enjoyable done here. And if you recall where we've left off in this saga, we had, of course, the exhaust manifolds in place. Had to pull those when we took the 318 out. Came back and we went with the Gibson Shorty. Super nice. Really happy with them. No real quality issues to speak of. It was just a situation where the Y-pipe offerings have diminished to nothing. In terms of a performance aftermarket Y, there was absolutely nothing. Also, at the advice of the tuner, he said, you know, those shorties are going to just choke this thing down too much. Obviously, on the dyno, we ran like some circle track headers, you know, so kind of the best of both worlds there. But the Gibsons, no issues. They're super expensive. They've gone up in price. I could sell them right now for, you know, less than what they cost and still turn a profit. They've gone up so much. So I don't know if I'll hang on to them for a future project or what, but what we did, we brought the pace setters in. The pace setters were, of course, when we needed them, gone, back ordered, out of production type of a thing. And the scheduled arrival date kept getting pushed back farther and farther and farther. And of course, the choice would have been to get their armor coating. It's a great price. It's sort of, you know, like their take on Jet Hot. Should have been fine. And the problem was that stuff was delayed way longer than the non-coated version. So what did we do? We went with the non-coated version and we decided we'd coat them ourselves. If you recall, the last thing we did here is we bolted them up, mocked the exhaust up, found out, you know, that we had issues with the collector, we had issues with the primary, missing a weld. We had to get that fixed up by Streetcar Joe. Got everything back from him. And then what we did is we sent them out for powder coating. And what happened there is it took, you know, I usually get them like every 2 to 4 weeks at work, kind of depending on the cycle of parts we're sending, sort of dictated by our production schedules and what comes up in the meantime that takes precedence. So there was a window that they should have come, and of course they didn't, and that delayed it like I think another 2 or 3 weeks. And long story short, I did not powder coat them. We did something really cool. Was it worth the wait? Hopefully. They look awesome. I don't know that anyone outside of this video, or people that I explicitly pop the hood and say, look at that, are really going to notice. It might look black down there. It might look cheesy like a cartoon. It may not show up at all. I really don't know. I've not mocked these up. I've not had time to do anything with them. But we're going to get started by showcasing what we did. So I'm going to drop down here. And this is what I've got. I've got the great reveal plan for you, right? So we'll take a look at these and then we'll kind of walk you back through the Gibsons and the exhaust manifolds. I'll get the 3 lined out, if you will. But once again, these are pace setter long tubes. That's pretty much it. To the credit of pace setter, like they're the only one left in the game. Back in the day, there was Mopar, Edelbrock, Spintech, all sorts of options. This is it now. And I went around a lot of reputable companies, you know, that I've, you know, dealt with in the past. And I said, hey, do you guys ever do anything for Magnums? And it was always a deal where they would have been willing to one-off them, maybe consider production, but they'd have to have a vehicle. And, you know, they're never anywhere close. So pace setter, of course, wins out. Price is great. Only issues with the pace setters, if you recall, we had the collectors that was actually a situation where it was not collapsed, but rather too big. And we had to reduce it down for the V-bands. And then luckily, a lot of people would have missed this, but we check everything thoroughly, especially since we had, you know, pound out a collector. And they just completely missed a weld on the primary. Talked to Summit. They were super cool about it. They knew kind of, you know, by my email, like, you know, this is like, I've waited a long time for these, and they came in screwed over, you know, and my fear was if I sent them back, which they were totally fine doing, and sending me new ones, how do I know that I'm not going to have the same problems, more problems, or worse problems? And you just don't know. It's a crapshoot. So they said, hey, if you can get them fixed, you know, we'll cover it. I got some quotes, you know, 60, well, I won't say what it costs, but It wasn't terrible. I did all the prep work, and of course Streetcar Joe handled all the TIG welding for us. So without further ado, we're going to reveal these. All I've done is throw some masking tape down across the collectors, but are you ready? Oh yeah. So let me step back, and I don't know if you know what's going on here, what the colors are. For perspective, there's a can of WD-40 over there, okay? There's some blue masking tape, and this is a tarp on the duster. There's also WD-40 here. Can't have too much WD-40. And if you're thinking like, what is going on there? Like, what's the deal? Some of you might know exactly what this is. Most of you will not. And what this is blue titanium Cerakote. So I went with Cerakote. Obviously it's very good high temp stuff, should last a long time. It's unique. My thing was, yeah, you could come in and we could do that, we could coat them, make them look like the stereotypical headers, we could have gone black. It all costs the same, right? You know, so my thoughts were, let's do something unique. And the blues that they had in Cerakote, I don't know that I would have wanted that. This was sort of a little more discreet. I kind of think it's just sort of going to blend in. You got to realize, like, where the truck is parked, like, we got a shop light right above this. So it's going to be dark typically, especially, you know, the hood is not on. So once the hood's on and you're out, you know, a natural light, it's just going to be dark down there. Again, if we put a light on it and tell people, like, hey, check this out, look what I did to the headers, yeah, then they'll know. But for everyone else, you know, if they just happen to glance in or the hood's up, it's kind of, oh, he's got headers on it. And that may be the extent of it. Could be wrong, but we'll figure it out when we install them, and that's what we're going to get started on. But let's take a closer look, shall we? So, pretty happy with them. They did a good job on them, I would have to say. Wasn't too terrible on the coating price, just again, the weeks, you know, like the time is really what kind of kills me. Does look a little thin over here, unfortunately, on the collector side where you'd like to have it coated, because that's something you can actually see when you're under the truck. But all in all, man, it's totally different, super unique. Where you might have seen this color, if you're into firearm, I don't know if we can say that word or not, but if you're into that sort of a thing, you might be familiar and kind of be like, oh yeah, you know, so-and-so, that's what his, you know, insert blank looks like. So that's what it is. It's blue titanium Cerakote. Super cool. And if we come in here, I think we can find, I have pictures. I don't know if I got a video of it, but right there, that's some of the welding Streetcar Joe did for us. Again, that's the primary. They just totally skipped on us. So we got that taken care of. Again, he did it inside and outside for us. I told him to please stay away from the flange there. It looks like he accomplished that. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't get to talk to the guy to know if he like coated the entire inside, or I just kind of see it, you know, the overspray in there. But I know they do have the wands, so maybe they did it. But anywho, that is what that's looking like. If I take you down here, you can kind of see we did the V-bands, of course. That's why we had to get everything kind of ironed out. There's the TIG welds again from Streetcar Joe. I'll have him linked in case you're needing any light work, fabrication type of stuff. Hit him up. But yeah, there's of course passenger side over here. We got our O2 bung. I know I deal with these people all the time. That's why I put a plug in it before I send it. Otherwise, I would have Cerakote that we have to clean out of threads. And I tell you, man, it's just such a unique. I think the camera is doing a pretty good job. Like, this area is very true to the color, and then up here it's kind of a little darker on the camera than it is here, I guess because of the white background, more light hitting it. It's just totally different, and I really do like it. So this is the big reveal. This is why I wouldn't tell you what we were doing. We did blue titanium Cerakote. And I've even got jeans without holes on now, so I was able to find a pair that I had stashed away, but kind of getting to the point where I couldn't comfortably wear those out in public anymore, you know. So yeah, we've got new headers, coated headers, new jeans. We're going to town here. So flange is nice. We've got the gaskets. We just basically have to drop these down, get them back in. I have picked up some more tools that I think kind of might help me with this, particularly like some ratcheting stubby wrenches. And we'll get to hopefully put those into play. My big deal on the driver's side, if you recall, we had to pry, pull it out. I'm hoping that like the shape was retained in that. I don't know. We're going to find out. But yeah, we'll hop to it. I will get you the lineup here, sort of the Manifold, the Gibsons, and these, just because I think it's going to be a cool comparison. Where we started, where we went, that we didn't even get to use, where we are. So, case in point, those Gibsons, like, they've never even run on the truck. I mean, like I told you, on the engine dyno, we had circle track headers, just default dyno headers. So yeah, they've been bolted up, they've never been run, they've never been through a single heat cycle even, so it is what it is. But these turned out really good. The only thing that sucked, aside from them missing the welds and everything and having the collector out around, is just the time that we lost. A lot of time was spent waiting on the headers, getting damaged headers, the prepping them, getting them off to be fixed, and then sending them off for coating and waiting and waiting and waiting. And that's what sucks. But anyway, we got them here. This is definitely the route I would suggest you go. If you want to do this, I guess I would just bite the bullet, do the pace setters from the get-go. Preferably their armor coating, you'd save money. I did get quotes on jet hotting these back when I had first ordered them, and it was like $1,200. We're talking $1,200 to coat like a $300 pair of it. It was insane. I can't justify that. So maybe someday we'll use jet hot. You know, I've had several headers that have been jet hotted, but it was always like done by the company, and by that I mean like the manufacturer of the headers. So yeah, that was a bit of sticker shock. You know, like $500-600 I totally would have understood, because they asked, you know, they guarantee it. You know, if it chips or something, you can send it in, they'll redo it. But $1,200 was, yeah, that's like, that's a lot of money, you know, for this type of a header. So we did not go that route. So super happy with how this looks here. Hopefully it looks cool in the truck. We're going to throw it together, see what it looks like. Let's get a comparison real quick before we do. So I wanted to do like this really cool, you know, like clean layout, and there's just not space to do that. So this is kind of the best I can do. But crawled in the back of the truck, drug out the manifolds, and this is what we're looking at. This is sort of like evolution, if you will. So I went ahead, I got both of them lined up there. That's where we started. Factory 5.2 exhaust manifolds. Then we went with the Gibson Shorties, and the final evolution is, of course, our pace setter blue titanium Cerakote long tubes. So that's the tale of tales there, with the middle chapter kind of being pointless. So anyway, though, I mean, it's kind of cool seeing that laid out. I'm glad that I remembered to do that before just throwing those things on. And with that said, I'm ready to get them on, and this will be the last time you'll ever see these three together, and enjoy it. So manifold, I don't know. I'm kind of debating, like, maybe I should like have them blasted and coated. I don't know. Just sort of preserve them, like long-term type of thing. They can just sit like they are, totally fine. The Gibsons, like I said, maybe we'll save them for a rainy day. I'm sure if I were ever to build, like, I have a lot of ideas in my head, and if I would do like a second gen Ram again, I'd like to do a single cab, sort of like a street truck build, and I would not want Shorties on that. But like I said, I mean, those things are like priced crazy high now. They were not cheap when I got them, and they're way more than that now. So I could, like I said, sell them way less than the list price currently and still make a decent profit on them, do somebody a favor. Maybe that's what we'll do. I don't know. But that's where we're at. That's where we're going. Hopefully those things look pretty cool in here. You're not going to see them super great. I mean, case in point, you know, like that's our passenger side. Driver side has way more going on. But maybe it'll work. Who knows? We're going to get them in there, figure it all out, and we'll take it from there. So here's one last look where we started, our wrong turn detour, and then where we ultimately wound up. So we'll do one final look at these things again. They've been prepped by yours truly, welded by Streetcar Joe, and coated in blue titanium Cerakote. Probably not too many second gen Rams running around with blue titanium Cerakoted headers, but hey, sometimes you gotta take away from yourself and invest in your vehicles or tools, right? That's how I sort of live my life. But man, they look really good like that. So anywho, let me know your thoughts on this, and now the fun part, we actually get to install them. Only issue is going to be if it maintains shape on the driver's side. If not, it's critical, and you would want to do the same thing with coated headers, that when you go to pry like I did initially, I didn't care if I took the paint off or put a dent in them or anything. Now I do not want to damage that coating. So what we'll have to do is like wrap the ever-living snot. This is why I keep used socks. You can like slide them over, duct tape over the sock to keep it in place, put a pad essentially, kind of like a towel, handle, pipe insulation, something around the pry bar, and then go to town and hopefully, you know, not nick or ding the coating. So anyway, there they are. I'm going to can it and I'm going to get these things on the truck. Alright, so I had supper. I've thrown these in. They drop in way easier than the driver's side. Driver's side mainly interferes again on the firewall side of things. It's really tight against the frame rail, but your point of interference with the starter off anyway is the firewall. That said, we have an issue here. This side, the driver's side, the gasket stayed in place on the head. This side it came off, and subsequently it's presented issues as I try to, like, you know, put it back in place and get everything lined up. Had the same thing happen. A bolt fell off. For what it's worth, I've still not found the driver's side one, which is a problem. But this one, I could not get either of the back two started with the gasket. I just don't have the space. Really, Eric, AC stuff is the problem. Always is. But what happened is the bolt fell, and I heard it. You know, I didn't hear it go to the floor, and I looked down, and I think you'll be able to see it. Maybe. I've got to reposition everything. If we zoom in right there, do you see that? Boom. Right here. Okay, let me grab what I just set down. We're going to attempt to retrieve it. It's stainless, so it may not be the easiest thing, but we got it. There we go. So this one is not a big deal because, again, I can find it. It's that one on the driver's side that I'm worried about. So I'm going to get back to this, get these suckers started. Once I do that, it's a cakewalk. And the most difficult thing of this process may very well be finding the missing bolt. Alright, Sunday fun day here. I have had zero free time since I last touched this, which was like Monday or Tuesday night. I get stuck at work late a few times, and you have some obligations Saturday, and next thing you know, it's Sunday. So what we're at, though, we were having some issues really on this side. It was just kind of getting it in place and getting everything lined up. It's almost like those back two are just fighting me, but gonna go ahead now. I've got a lot more free time now than I did on those nights. I was trying to crank that out super late. So I'm gonna come in here, get this taken care of, and I had a late lunch. I don't really care if I eat supper, so got a couple hours here. Should be way more time than I need. No pressure on me, so it is likely to get taken care of. And then might go ahead and throw the exhaust up. I'm not 100% sure yet, at least what we have of the exhaust. But yeah, gonna come in here. I could never find, for the life of me, I don't know where it went. I don't know how we lost it. Somewhere it's in this vicinity. Just one of these little 5/16 by 1 inch stainless bolts is gone. And when I had my supplier at work come by, I just asked him if he could bring me one. He did, so I'm covered. Got a brand new bolt, and we'll eventually find that one, hopefully. So with that said, I'm going to get this thing lined up, try to get everything tightened down. We will come in and torque it. I'll recap what we used, if some of the new tools worked well or were busts and disappointments. But yeah, ready to get this done and behind me, so that's what we're going to do. Alright, so that fan's probably making some noise. It's 98 degrees, I don't really care. Went back to the driver's side. I've gotten it taken care of. This second bolt on the driver's side, cylinder number 1, if you will, it seemed like it was cross-threaded. I didn't know how, and I wound up taking everything out, pulling it back, and got it to go in. It went buttery smooth. Didn't have to tap it. Couldn't figure it out. Basically just started there, then pieced everything together. It's fine, ready to be torqued. Coming back over here, though, we had again those last two I told you about. And I was real happy because, you know, I kind of backed things out, you know, and made sure, again, I think the issue there is probably the gasket kind of occluding the holes, and there's no way to get to it and move it. So I dropped down. This is the little quarter Tekton Roto head. I never really use that one, 3/8 and 1/2 inch all the time. That's why they were filthy. This one, though, I thought, you know, if I just went and grabbed like a 1/2 inch socket and quarter drive, maybe I'd have clearance there, and that worked great. The problem is what you're not seeing right now, and it's got to do with this. This is, if I extract it again, this is a little Ullman magnetic pickup tool, right? These are stainless bolts, but they're a little magnetic, right? And that back one fell out and it rattled down, and it's actually this one, the fifth one, the one that we've got the socket and extension on, fell out and rattled down there. So I grabbed the back one, threw it in place, and I was going to do that one, and thought, well, hey, I'm just going to retrieve that, you know, it'll be super easy. And the bolt is down there. I've been under the truck. The magnetic extension is on the bolt, and it's stuck. Like, it will not come out. You know, like, I think I could rip it and probably break it, but like, it's to the point where I know that's not smart. So I'm gonna tuck that thing back in, kind of collapse it, and see if I can get it out from underneath somehow. The handle was up too high for me to grab it. So I'm kind of thinking that other bolt, the one that we lost on the driver's side, is probably nestled between the tubes and you just can't really see it. It's either there, or I think in the behind the inspection cover of the transmission, which I'm not sure how it would have done that. It would have had to maintain downward momentum and go back, which I don't really think it's like there wasn't much they could hit off of to change the trajectory. But this is kind of a problem, number one, because we need the bolt, but number two, like, I mean, that crud is in there, so I'm gonna see if that'll work well. But the other thing of note, this little setup I have here, it is on the Coke and wobble fix in the middle, so it's a right 6-point Tekton Roto head, and then a little Coke in 1/4-inch extension. The right and the Coken on the wobble fix part, like going 15 degrees out, you know, for your wobble, it is like not compatible. Something between what right's doing and what Coken's doing just does not mesh well. I saw the same thing with a Gador extension. I think it was Gador, it could have been Hazette, and the Proto socket on another project where like they just didn't work on the wobble function very well. But I know where the bolt is, I know where my magnetic pickup tool is, I don't know if I can get them out. So that's what I'm going to try to do. The gap in between the primary tubes at the bottom, you can't really get a screwdriver through it. All my plastic trim tools, which would protect the Cerakote finish of the headers, are like way too fat. So I got a scraper up in there, but it's not really like strong enough to push the bolt out that's wedged in. So I don't know. I'm just going to have to piddle around down there until it comes out. But we shall see. It's the last bolt, and it should be pretty easy to tighten in. It doesn't have as much obstruction as this one does. So main thing is just you cut your hand all the time on that firewall insulation. So I'm going to go try to get the bolt out, and I'll let you know if I succeed. I've spent about 10 minutes trying to get this stupid thing out. I don't think it's going to come out. I don't think the bolt is going to come out with that there. I'm honestly thinking the most efficient use of my time is going to be to take the headers off completely and see if I can extract that thing from there. There's a couple of angles where I can kind of tell you could see in. I don't know if I can get like needle nose and crush that power cap. The power cap, which that's what keeps the magnets from sticking on the side, ironically is what I believe is wedged in and keeping this stuck. Obviously we could overcome the pull force of the magnet against the primary tubes, regardless if it was stuck head on or on all four sides, but the power cap seems to be what's stuck, so that's a huge disadvantage there. I have a little Coke and flex on, but I have it over on that side. So as much as I hate to do it and as dumb as it seems, I think that's probably the best way to use my time. So I guess everything that we've put in place here, we're gonna pull out and take it from there. I may also, when I do that, I might tighten that gasket down and see if I can get it to stick to the head. That would make my life a heck of a lot easier. That's how it was on the driver's side. Don't know why this one didn't torque the same way, but anyway, idiotic things happen, and you try to retrieve a bolt. I at least know where this one is. I thought, hey, I bet that other one fell in that same spot. I can't see it on the driver's side at all. This one, you wouldn't know it was there unless you just hold the light just right, and you have to be in the exact perfect position, and you can kind of catch the threads. So this is just stupid and a complete waste of time, but I think it's going to save time in the long run. So off come the headers. This is quite possibly one of the dumbest things I've ever had happen to me. And the good news is, like, I mean, it took 2 minutes to get the headers back off. Gasket fell down, as you can see there. I'm going to pull that thing up and inspect it, but let me show you. Again, we've got that thing fully extended, right? It's coming down, And you can see that power cap right there is just wedged in. So maybe now from this side that I didn't have access to because it was against the block, maybe we can force that thing out. You're gonna see where the shiny is. That's what that is. Now, if I tilt you over here, I don't know that you can even see it. Let me grab the Astro. Oh man, I'm trying to get it to where you can tell. If you think you see something that looks like the threads on a bolt in there, you do. Right there, I think. Like if it looks like you can see the head of the bolt, it's real shiny. And then the threads, right? That's the bolt. The shiny thing is the bolt. And right here, if I can get you in position, that shiny thing there is the power cap on our little Ullman magnetic puller. So absolutely ridiculous that we're having to do this, but I think I can get the crud out on this side. So that's what I'm going to start working on. Oh, this is so sad. So the Ullman here and the power cap there, I know you can't see it well at all, but the kicker is I can prove that I had the bolt because it's got the star washer on it. Now coming over here, again using this side, I tried to get the coking up there. It's just a little too fat, and I just need the cheapest, thinnest, crappiest magnets possible. Oh yeah. Okay, so Resurrection Savior number 1 is complete. We'll throw that in place. Again, note that we are missing the star washer. Can't fit locks on a lot of these, by the way, so this thing now, I don't know what I'm gonna do. We gotta find some way of maybe like crushing that. The magnet, it's super hard for you to see through there with the camera, but the magnet is out of the power cap. Like if it looks like you can't see anything through there, just basically let me explain it. If we had the power cap here and the magnet here, okay, the power cap is like wedged here, and then the magnet with the washer is way down beyond it. I can collapse it, bring them close, pull it, get them back in place, but I want it separated because I'm gonna have to try to crush it. So I'm gonna do that now. Alright, sometimes I have to do this. Sometimes I know I need the items, other times I'm just getting it because I think they'll come in handy. They were on sale, so on and so forth. This is one of those things. It was tool of the day. And I think it was anyway. But it's Knipex 2881-280, only available with their dipped textured handle. And if you note, these are their assembly pliers. They kick out at a 45. I am hoping I can get in there with them. I may not be able to. I don't know that I've got anything that thin. So maybe the Lyle relay pullers would get in there. This is just going to be a mess, but I hate showing tools when I like get them dirty before the tool haul, so this is their moment of glory. Tool of the day, Knipex assembly pliers. They make them, I think, in straight, which, man, that would have been nice here, but at the time I didn't ever envision myself being in this predicament. So here they are, mint condition. We're about to put them to town. If they extract this, if they crush it, if they get it out, when we do the tool haul, they'll have a really cool story. But wish me luck. I'm off to get this power cap out. Okay, so we're off to a good start. Again, if you kind of see the shiny things, you've got the magnet here, and over there's the power cap, and you're like, what's that? Well, I've been able to successfully extract the star washer, so I'm going to equip it over there, and then I'm going to try to see if I can't force through there. But good start so far. Wish me luck. Dear Lord, what a nightmare. This might be coming out now. There we go. So good news. Well, I do think we saved time going this route. Bad news, this is beat up pretty bad, but the good news is it's still intact somehow. So I would love to take this power cap off, never have that problem. I do have another one new. We could possibly make that happen. But yeah, this serves a purpose, but in some cases it can be a real problem, and this was one of those limited circumstances. So learning the hard way, sometimes there's a beauty in having your little El Cheapo guys, right? So I think I could possibly still get this thing off. I need 2 hands to do it, but yeah, the bolt is out and this is free, so that's never going anywhere near these again. If the bolt goes in, the bolt goes in. Maybe if you're doing these and you're afraid you might drop some bolts or have some issues, just throw tape or a blanket over the tubes, put them in place, throw a blanket over the top of them, towel, a bunch of shop rags, something to keep bolts from falling down, because they will work their way all the way in to the very bottom near the collector. And yeah, that's that. So I'm going to throw this thing back on, try to get the gasket stuck in place a little bit better, and see if we can't get this thing lined up. So, total nightmare. But aside from that, we're getting really good at getting these in and out. It's just, we had one bolt on the driver's side give us issue and one on the passenger side, and that really kind of threw things for a loop, especially here. So hopefully we never have to do this again. But yeah, Vera, a channel lock, Knipex, 3-pound sludge. I was trying to use a rubber one and be like safe and careful, and I just said screw that after about 3 hits of going nowhere. So anyway, these are going to go back in, and we will hopefully be able to make it happen. So the headers aren't too beat up. Keep in mind, all this that you see that kind of looks like the finish is off, that's just an AntiSieze, just like it's all over me. So the other thing I may do with these back out of the truck, which I didn't think I was going to have to do, it's a little hard to get to the O2 sensor. I do have the new one. I think with these out of the way, the collectors and everything, we'll just go ahead and try to get the new one plugged in, have it ready to bolt in. And I think I chased these threads. I may do it again just to be safe, but yeah, that's my little sacrificial plug, because I know how these guys operate. If you don't do that and they don't have a plug that fits it, meaning like a little cheap piece of plastic, they'll just spray the Cerakote there. So anyway, one more look at the headers before they're like totally screwed over, and we're gonna drop these back in the truck. All right, well, remember that part where I said I don't care if I don't eat supper? Well, that ship has sailed. I just looked at my watch. It's 10 p.m., 10:01 to be exact. But yeah, the issue here was exactly what I thought it was. The gasket back there on the back cylinder, cylinder 8 if you will, was just constantly fighting me. It would never line up well. Backed it out twice, went to town, everything was lined up, couldn't get it to go. Again, did the same thing, backed it all out, started on that side, finally got it to catch. I noticed that there's a kind of a tear on this side. I thought it was from probably when it fell, you know, like it didn't stay adhered to the cylinder head like on the driver's side, but that side I noticed as it was finally going into place was tearing too. And when I say tearing, I'm talking about sort of like the filler piece that just keeps these all connected. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, that has zero sealing function on that flange. That's just kind of there, you know, to match what you would have on headers, or an exhaust manifold for that matter. But I mean, technically you could just have the ports, you know, 1, 2, and 3 down there to cover your 4 ports basically. Obviously the middle one having 2 ports, you know, for your 4 cylinders total. But I kind of wonder if that's the deal, because like I said, it was kind of torn. It's both tears are sort of right about here, almost right below number 2 spark plug, and then that one's like right below the number 8 spark plug. It's just kind of like it's starting to tear on the top side. But they are in, they are not torqued. I'm super thirsty, and I ran out of my body armor a couple hours ago, so I'm really thirsty. I had to stop and haul some stuff out to the trash. A bunch of weeds and crabgrass. We've been digging a ton of crabgrass, that's why I haven't been able to do this. But yeah, the Astro, I finally charged that. That's the first time I've ever charged that little Astro light since I've had it, and I have used that thing exclusively. I love that little guy. Harbor Freight's got some new ones I kind of want to pick up. They look like clones of the Astros. Could be the same factory, could be a cheap knockoff, I don't know. As soon as they go on sale, I'll do that. I'm not paying $29.99 for those. I'm going to wait till there's a coupon or a sale. Then the Braun light, I went to it, and it was with me for maybe 20 minutes, and it died. So it was fully charged. Last I would have used it. I mean, that's a really good light. I love the flexibility of it, but just the battery sucks. So we're back to the 40 SL here, which is fine. And the cool thing on it is it's very easy to control the dimming function, which I guess will just go totally off now. So yeah, we need to torque them. I guess I will include that in this part. Maybe it'll be in the next. I don't really know. I hate never having like a long string of hours. This one, granted, we would have been done so long ago with this mess if we wouldn't have had that bolt and the magnetic pickup tool. By the way, I did play with that too. I got it freed up with some ballast tool, but I don't know that it's ever going to drop back off. I might slice that one off I liked it so well I bought one to take to work. I might bring that back home to have the power cap here and then cut the power cap off this one that I've screwed up by hammering it with a sharp screwdriver, and then I just sort of have good magnets, one with power cap, one without, and call that good. So the fact that thing survived is pretty impressive. But yeah, here they are. That is our blue titanium long tube headers. Finally pretty much installed. Again, just have to torque it, which there's basically 2 bolts per side that is stupid hard to torque. Obviously you kind of you'd like to torque things square. It's sort of hard to do that with the header setup here. Here it is on this side. I need to put that spark plug back on. I didn't even showcase this side, but like I said, it was just, I don't know where that bolt is on this side. If the gasket wouldn't have kind of occluded the hole over there, that would have been a cakewalk. Also would have helped if we wouldn't have had the bolt fall because of the gasket occluding the hole. While I'm thinking about it, on the tools, didn't really get to use the Stubby much. It didn't really fit much, our icon ratcheting one. I did use this one. If we dig it out, that's the switchable one. Mainly the Tekton 3060 angle. The SK Stubby is just such a good fit. I busted out the universal. I used that once. I had the 3/8 one because I was thinking of using those little pace setter specialty bolts that were included. The pickup tool did come in handy. I did have a bolt fall back down there, but I was able to get it right out. And then I did go down when I was using that, where is it? Right there, the right quarter drive 1/2-inch socket. When I was using that on this little combo here of the Tekton and Koken, it would, like I say, not work with the wobble function. I don't have any quarter drive Kokens. I'm guessing I'm going to have to do that. Outside of the nut grips, I have that original nut grip set, so I grabbed that sucker, used it. Worked well for me. I used 12-point semi-deep, 12-point deep, and then of course this ratchet here, I just switched those extensions. I'd been freehanding that one, but for this back bolt, cylinder number 8, I needed it to be slightly shorter so I could actually fit it back there. And then of course odds and ends, I was using that Hayco to kind of try and like get things to line up. All my other drivers were either too stubby or too long, so that turned out to be a sweet spot. It's kind of a freak size, so it worked well. That SK is a lifesaver. The Tekton angle wrenches, true story. If you were to take this and cut it down, I don't know, remember the exact lengths on this thing, but basically where, let me flip her, where you see Tekton and 1/2-inch, okay? If we were to cut right there and right there, just eliminate Tekton and 1/2-inch, not because I hate Tekton or 1/2-inch wrenches, but if we took about that much out of this, welded it back up, it would be perfect for the headers. And what I mean by that is, like, when you come in and you get to these, like this guy is really hard, the second bolt off of cylinder 2, and then our 5th bolt in front of cylinder 8, those are stupid difficult. And what you have, this wrench is just long enough that you can come in and catch it great with the angle head, but then as you come down you hit the primary, and that's where the stubby's really nice, but then again you don't have the angle on it, which makes the stubby kind of cumbersome. If we could take this and stubbyfy it, basically cross this with a little SK there, it would be such a great wrench. And that's a lot of times why you see me buy some stuff from Harbor Freight. I can just chop it up, weld it, tack it, whatever I need to do, one-off use. It's not a big deal. These aren't terribly expensive one-off. That's how I bought all of these, actually. I didn't get the set. I'm kind of thinking I might buy one and just cut it out and tack it down the middle. I would love to see Tekton actually make a stubby set of these, but I don't know if that's on their priority list or not. But that would be the bee's knees right here for this stuff. So anyway, I might go in and have like some sandwich meat or something. It's really hot and I'm just thirsty. So this is really simple and I can make a really good time outside of stupid things. The gasket occluding holes is a problem, and especially it's going to be the back cylinder 8, which is the most difficult to deal with. I did try, to my credit, you know, doing that first. It just didn't work out well. And then, like I said, we had one of the dumbest things I've ever seen happen to me in terms of doing automotive stuff. I don't know if I could drop a bolt and put an extension down there and have that ever happen again. It's that type of a deal. But everything lined up just perfectly wrong, and that's exactly what happened. So we had to pull the header completely out, tap it out. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I would assume people that watch this for a guide could do this, have bolts drop all the time, and I don't know, if you have a bolt go down in the catch of the primaries, like where they all four nest together, don't use your good magnet, get your cheap one, like the 99 center from AutoZone's counter, and use that, because you do not want to experience what I experienced. It's a major setback in terms of time. Kind of funny, but also sucks at the same time. But yeah, that'll now be a scenario where you'll probably hear me reference this crud from here on out when we do tool hauls and tool reviews. And to the credit of the Ullman, I mean, that thing survived. I don't for the life of me know where I put it, but it did survive as long as we haven't lost it. I think I left it, I think I've got it soaking in ballastal rags over there. I was deburring it. I spent a lot of time doing some other stuff, but I was deburring it on the inside, seeing if I could get the cap to slide back. That would be way easier to cut there, and I don't run the risk of hitting the magnet. But I think I might just slice that off with a rotary tool or something. But anywho, I'm going to quit rambling, get inside. I had fun, even though it doesn't seem like I should have. I'm just thirsty. So, like I said, these little rotary head ratchets. Tekton, Harbor Freight's got them. I'm sure other people rebrand them. Harbor Freight's are going to be green, if I'm not mistaken, from Pittsburgh. Don't sleep on them. They're really good. The 3/8 and the half were filthy. I can show them to you. You know, in fact, I'm not sure where that one's at, but I cleaned them up, and they cleaned up really well. Wrong drawer. Top. So yeah, I don't know where my 3/8 one is, but like this thing was absolutely nasty, and it looks new. I mean, not brand new, but it could pass for like really well taken care of. And 3/8, same story. The quarter I didn't really ever use that much, but now it's come in super handy. So it looks like we found some more tools to buy. It'll be the Kokins, mainly so we can use the wobble fixes, and that's about that. So this truly is very easy, especially once you've done it, taking the exhaust manifolds off, put headers on, put another set of headers on. Like by that point in time, you're pretty proficient with it. It's just for whatever reason that gasket gave me some trouble over on this side. So don't drop your bolts. Throw some towels or rags or duct tape or something over the crevices, and might waste time, but if they do fall, you'll save time. And I'll tell you, like 80%, 90% of the bolts that fall out, they go straight to the ground. But we have one totally gone. I have no clue where it is. And we had one get stuck there. I had like 2 more at least go down on each side, and I was able to just lift them out real easy with a magnet. So anywho, I'm going to clean up a little bit here so I can go inside and not get my bread with AntiSieze. It's always nice. So yeah, you ever have it where you grab your sandwich and you take a bite and then you set it down and you look at your phone or something, you look back over at the sandwich and you see fingerprints on it and you get disgusted, and then you're like, wait, that's me? Yeah, that's what I'm going to try to avoid. So not too bad. I actually cleaned my hands up really good before I had to haul the sacks of weeds out. But anywho, this is on here. It just needs to be torqued. I'll try to just do that next time. Maybe we'll mock the exhaust up. Maybe that'll be another video just because of this stupid magnetic pickup tool getting stuck. I don't know, but hope you're enjoying. And, with that said, I'll catch you back as we torque this mess down. Alright, so here we are on Mopar Monday. My apologies if the fan's blowing. It's stupid hot in here. We have an issue. I, for the life of me, cannot find the exhaust to attempt to hang, so I have no clue where it is. I don't know if it was taken when the door was cracked and somebody passing by saw something shiny and grabbed it. I legitimately don't know. I've paced around the shop for about 30 minutes now, and I've come up empty, so I don't know what to tell you. That'll definitely be a different part now, but anyway, the headers are on, they're torqued. There's, again, a couple of bolts you just cannot get to, especially with the torque wrench and all the attachments and everything. So 24 foot-pounds is what Pacesetter recommends. Obviously, your first bolt here on cylinder 2 you can get to fine. Second one is pretty much ridiculous. 3 and 4 you can actually do pretty good. And then the 5th bolt, kind of a crapshoot. You're probably going to have to do it with a wrench. 6th bolt you can actually access. Coming around over here to the driver's side where we got our lights set up. Kind of the exact same setup. The first bolt is fine. Second bolt yeah, your results may vary. 3 and 4 you can probably get to. 4 is, not gonna lie, kind of a problem. Same with the entire back cylinder 7 ports. Those are just sort of bad as well, in part because with the brake booster and the steering shaft and everything else that you don't have on the passenger side, you just don't have space to get to it with the torque wrench. The way I hit those is on the bottom with the Tekton angle head and a Stubby. That's really about the best way I can do it. You basically, whatever bolt you can get to the easiest that you know is torqued properly, put a wrench on it, whatever wrench you will be able to access the remaining bolts with, see what it feels like, and just get there. You know, if it takes you so much effort you can't turn it, on one that's torqued to 24, get down there and get it to that same point. There's really, I can't tell you to go a little bit past that, because you probably can't due to space constraints. So again, I would have loved to have had these installed with the motor out of the truck like we did the Gibsons. That's not what we were able to do since we didn't know we were going to have to switch at that point in time. But yeah, they are on, they are torqued, and I can't put the exhaust on because I don't know where it is. So it's about par for the course, I suppose. Tools, obviously, torque wrench for this segment. Whatever, I prefer 6-point when I'm torquing. Sometimes it's hard to get that on some of the bolts. You might go with a 12-point, 24 foot-pounds. You're not really, you know, jacking the corners too bad there. But like I said, angle head wrench and a Stubby wrench, pretty much necessities here. I actually emailed Tekton today to see if they had plans to make a Stubby angle head wrench, which I think that thing is on the creeper. Yeah, right here. I said, hey, you guys got any plans to make a Stubby angle head? It would be perfect. What I mean by that, you can compare the Tekton to the SK Stubby. That's like the perfect length for headers. The problem is it's a standard wrench. We don't have the cool angled heads, which really do help, particularly in situations like these. They said, unfortunately, no, but thanks for the suggestion. So we might buy one and make it ourselves, and I might do a couple other sizes. Again, I didn't buy a full set of these ever. I think 7/16, half, and 9/16. Sort of covers quarter, 5/16, 3/8 hardware, where I kind of would, you know, thought that I would use these, and that's what's happened. But Stubby, this is just a little too long. What happens, you can catch just fine, but then you hit the primary as you're tightening or loosening. And I've done both because, again, we had to pull the passenger header off to get a bolt out. Still can't quite believe that happened a day later. But yeah, I may make one of those, so stay tuned. It would be perfect for headers, at least here on small block Mopars and Magnums. So those are super handy. Again, quarter stuff would be good for the tight quarters bolts. I definitely recommend that. But that is about it. So this is it. Assuming I can find the exhaust, that's what we're going to go to. I've got the new O2 sensors over here. I think we're just going to need the upstream one. I think I can just tie off the downstream one. We'll see if we want to put a bung in later. We can totally do that because we have V-bands welded if I could find them. And by them, I mean the entire exhaust. I don't know where it is. So anyway, I think what I'll do in the next video, we will try to come through the cab. It seems like way back in the day, I remember hearing that you could go through, if you were four-wheel drive, you could go through the boot and the shifter and get to the top of the plug, because you can access the O2 sensor to pull it and make everything golden. But then the issue is to disconnect the upstream one. Like, your connection is way on the top of the transmission and you can't really, I can feel it, but I can't really like get two hands up there type of a thing, and I can't see anything that I'm doing. So it's a total nightmare. But this is actually really easy, especially again if you've pulled the manifolds. That gives you a good precursor. If you've test fit something, or you've done your truck and you're now doing a buddy's, it's a really easy job, just as long as you don't drop a bolt and get a magnetic pickup tool stuck. So that's my official advice for the day. You can't really from here see too terribly well. Down on the headers, I need to clean AntiSieze off of them. And I know that fan sometimes when it runs the rigid puts a lot of air out there, but this is kind of what I wanted. Just something, if you're looking or I point it out, you're like, wow, that's really cool. Otherwise, you may not notice. I'm hoping that Cerakote holds up well, you know, but it kind of has that blued effect, right? When something gets hot and then it just like maintains that heat signature. That's sort of what I was going for. We'll see what it looks like once we get it running. But broad scope of things here. Exhaust goes on. Backup camera, we got to drop the hitch, rig that up. I brought some angle iron home today just to test fit it. I'd like to do aluminum, but I'd be stuck buying a 20-foot stick. I'm not sure if that's the best financial decision at this point in time. I kind of think I need to probably get the fuel out because it's sat so long and we have this trash ethanol-based fuel now. Similarly, we might come in, we need to do the tune, and past that, like the air box, which I hate putting that on before it's running, but we might have to for the IAT sensor. I haven't really thought too hard on that just yet, but we've got that to go. There's a couple other small things I'd like to do, but we are definitely getting close. We mainly just need time and me to find the exhaust system, the Y-pipe that we had V-bands welded to with no tube. I don't know if it's still in the trunk of the Challenger. I could have sworn I had it in here. I don't know where it is. I'm legitimate to the point of thinking like, you know, I had it at the back under the truck and maybe like someone ran by and thought it was a catalytic converter. I don't know. I really don't know. So I'm very concerned about that. I'm going to try to get to the bottom of it. And I'm not making it up. It's like a legitimate cliffhanger. I'm here in a shop and I don't know where I've placed my exhaust. So yeah, it's one of those things. Other note, leaving work, I actually got to leave at a decent time. That's why I'm out here. But Chuck Setzinger from Street Outlaws was actually spotted. That was pretty cool. So I probably should have stopped and said hi. You never know if people want to be bothered or not. But, you know, seems like the type of guy I think he would genuinely enjoy, like somebody, you know, like miles from his home base being like, hey, Chuck from Street Outlaws. Seems like the type of guy that would think that's cool, you know, not necessarily be annoyed by it. I guess it depends on the day, really. Maybe he's had a bad day, maybe he's having a great day, maybe it would cheer him up, maybe it would push someone. You just never know. But if I had my guesses, I would say he seems like the type of dude that would think it's cool regardless of what's going on with him. So probably would cheer him up. Who knows? But yeah, not going to go on too much longer again. This really is not that bad. The clearance down here, that's what we were worried about when we mocked it up. We pulled it and pressed it to the side. It's actually, now that it's torqued, I was just down there, obviously getting those back two bolts with the angle wrench. It looks like it's maintained position and it should clear. I don't know what'll happen, like if we get flexing on like some bad roads or off-road or something, but we'll just keep tabs on it. So with that said, this is our big reveal. It took forever to get the pace setters, and then they came in. They were out of round on a collector. They had a missed weld on primary tubes. Got that taken care of. We went ahead and welded V-bands to it, which is really trick if we had the other end. So yeah, and then of course after they came back from welding and being fixed, we got them Cerakoted in blue titanium. Looks super cool. And again, like all this stuff, the majority of it, like where sockets ding it, it does tend to clean up. And then like the AntiSieze, everywhere you see like the silver stuff, it cleans out pretty good. There's some dings in this that just, it's not gonna, I mean, like that one right there, you can't really see it, but that's where a socket rubs because it's too tight of a, you know, fit. But yeah, they look pretty good now. Hopefully they stay that way. I don't know what'll happen in the future, but hopefully this helps you out. Hopefully you're enjoying the Ram Revival. Again, it's all downhill from here, but there might be a few hills on the way. If that makes any sense. So I will leave it at that. Thanks so much for watching. LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all three at Lone Star Mopars. With that said, I'll catch you back here for the next installment.